What up, Rival Gang, and anybody from the YouTube space seeing this video? Welcome to part 10, yes, part 10 of my What If series, and today we have Nightcrawler, Mr. Kurt Wagner himself, the X-Men's Acrobat, Brimstone, and Blade, and y'all see I have him as a strategist, 5 stars, yes sir. So, 5-star Nightcrawler, let's see. So starting off, we have 250 HP, 60 HP per second as far as his heal rate, 85 damage per second, and as far as his movement speed, 7.5 meters per second. We all know Nightcrawler is very quick, mobile, whatever you want to call it. He can get around for sure, right? Very quick on his feet, high mobility. So going into his passive, we have On Guard. Every confirmed rapier hit builds a flourish charge up to 4 maximum. Every second rapier hit triggers 3 simultaneous effects. A 28 HP healing pulse radius to all allies within 10 meters. All of Nightcrawler's active cooldowns are reduced by 0.5 seconds, and a flourish charge is added. When Nightcrawler uses BAMF with at least 1 flourish charge, all charges are consumed and converted into healing for the targeted ally. Each charge restores 22 HP instantly on arrival, up to 88 HP at full charges. Landing hits consistently is the engine that runs the entire kit. The more hits means more pulses, faster cooldowns, and bigger BAMF heals. So as y'all can see, I tried to make him somewhat like a DPS strategist, right? But pretty balanced, because I know sometimes we do want to run 3 strategists just to get that extra heal, right? But at the same time, we still need that damage. So I figured he could be a good character where, hey, depending on how well he's mastered, you can still use him with just a secondary strategist as well. Or if you want to run 3 strategists, he will be able to fit in just fine and perfectly honestly with a kit like this. So moving forward, we have his left mouse button, which is twin rapiers. Kurt wields dual rapiers in a rapid 4-hit alternating combo, dealing 85 damage per second. Each hit builds a flourish charge. Every second hit, hits 2 and 4, triggers a 28 HP healing pulse to all allies within 10 meters and reduces all active cooldowns by 0.5 seconds. Hits 2 and 4 are also piercing thrusts, dealing 15% bonus damage that pass through the target, hitting anyone behind them. Landing the full 4-hit combo applies a blade mark, making the next BAMF deal 30 bonus damage to that target on arrival. So pretty simple, right? Might as well say every other hit you're going to be doing a heal pulse of 28 HP, and on top of that, your cooldowns are being reduced by 0.5 seconds to help you keep them on rotation as much as possible. And they will also do bonus damage that pierce and hit any enemies that are ultimately in front of or behind them, depending on how you're positioned, right? So I think that's pretty cool. So moving on to his right mouse button, we have BAMF Heal. Kurt teleports directly to a targeted ally within 14 meters, appearing beside them and immediately restoring 60 HP per second for 2 seconds, for a total of 120 HP on arrival. Any active flourish charges are consumed, each restoring an additional 22 HP to that same ally. Can be self-cast to reposition 9-second cooldown, which I think is a pretty good ability, right? It's pretty straightforward. You teleport to your teammate, bam, they got all their health back, right? For the most part. And if you have stacks, well, obviously not all their health back, but y'all get what I'm saying, right? That's a huge chunk of health to get back, especially if you have the stacks, right? I mean, with the stats, you might as well say that's almost actually having full health. I mean, you're just around 20, 25, you know, somewhere around in there, all from actually, for most characters, getting full health as far as duelists and the squishies. So let's move forward. So we have BAMF itself, the shift. Kurt targets an ally within 16 meters and teleports instantly to their position. 2 independent charges are refreshing every 2 seconds. On arrival, he restores 20 HP to himself and 20 HP to that ally. Any active flourish charges are consumed, healing that ally 22 HP per charge. If a blade mark is active on any enemy within 4 meters of the arrival point, Kurt automatically deals 30 bonus blade damage on landing. So y'all probably are already picking up on the theme, right? You're gonna be constantly trying to teleport, get those cooldowns as low as possible. So pretty much it's rinse and repeat, right? Kind of what we see him do in the shows and any other video games if you've seen them, right? You go in, slash, bang, 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 dash out. But when you dash out, with him being a strategist, or I should say teleporting out, you ultimately heal your teammates, and that's pretty much what you do. I feel like that is a great way to be interactive as a healer, and I feel like it'll be overall fun, especially if the effects are cool and stuff like that. From a visual standpoint, I think this will be a very fun character to play as a strategist, especially, like I said, if maybe you don't like playing strategists and maybe you're a DPS most of the time. I think you would still love to play a character like this because you are so engaged in doing what you're doing. And we haven't even gotten to the other parts yet, right? So let's talk about his E. we have Riposte. Kurt enters a 1.2 second parry stance. If any enemy hits him during this window, he instantly bounces behind the attacker up to 8 meters and delivers a counter stab dealing 90 damage. The counter stab consumes 1 flourish charge and applies 40% anti-hit to the target for 3 seconds. If no hit lands, the ability goes on goes on a reduced 5-second cooldown. Other than that, 13 seconds on a successful parry. Now this is very crucial. This is where I feel an assassination aspect kind of comes into play, because if you land this on an opponent that's barely already having any health, or you're trying to, let's say, help one of your duelists or maybe tanks, finish off a 1v1, this can get somebody out the way real quick. To the point where even their healers wouldn't really be able to help them because of the anti-heal. So I really think that this is a great ability to have as well. Next, we have the F, which is his Phantom Step. Kurt dips halfway into the Brimstone Dimension for 2.5 seconds. He becomes translucent and takes 40% reduced damage while partially phased, healing 15 HP per second for the full duration. He can still move, attack, and use abilities normally. All rapier hits during Phantom Step generate double flourish charges, and the 0.5 second cooldown reduction and 28 HP pulse still procs on every second hit. Using BAMF during Phantom Step exits the phase instantly, and the teleport is completely silent, 14-second cooldown. So again, this is just to help you get around the battlefield just a little bit better, right? It still does a lot of things. It ultimately takes you out of the fight so you can heal a little bit, and then ultimately jump right back on an enemy, or just get the safety in general, right? Whatever it is that you need to do in that moment, but hopefully in a situation like this, it is used more aggressively. So that way, again, you can get the job done of being, as I said before, somewhat of a DPS, somewhat of a strategist. Ultimately, your main thing is to be a strategist, but this is a great way for you to be engaged and also fight to put more damage down for your team to get the job done. Next, we have a C. As I always like to say, this could be like a team up ability of some sort, depending on who you have on the team, or we can swap these abilities out for any reason. Again, as a disclaimer, y'all, this is all for fun. By no means am I saying this should be his direct kit that goes into the game. It just, hey, what if Nightcrawler again would be in Marvel Rivals? What would that potentially look like? So this is why I create these. So let's go into it. C, dimensional pull. Kurt reaches through a dimensional rift and pulls a targeted ally up to 18 meters directly to his location. They arrive instantly with 100 HP absorbed shield lasting 2.5 seconds and begin regenerating 20 HP per second for 3 seconds on arrival. Immediately on their arrival, Kurt BAMFs away up to 10 meters to a targeted ally, converting any active flourish charges into healing for the pull ally. Now the reason why I like this ability, it can kind of go two ways, right? And that's why I thought of it more of maybe like a team up, but again, some of this can be swapped out. But imagine if you have teammates in spawn and you need to get one of them back, right? 18 meters, that's pretty far. That's a good amount of distance to pull somebody actually back into the fight, as well as potentially taking them out of the fight, right? So abilities like this, I think are really cool, really great. Like I said, it cuts down that, I guess you would say, traveling time in a lot of different ways, and it can just be a clutch way to save a teammate. Imagine if you do this and you're teleporting them to a health pack or something, right? Very, very cool ability, because and just so y'all know, right, these abilities would be able to be used through walls to a certain degree. So with that being said, I think something like this would be a very, very cool ability. So now moving on to the big one, the ultimate. We have BAMF Blitz. So Kurt unleashes 8 seconds of pure dimensional warfare. BAMF charges refresh every 0.8 seconds. Each use requires targeting an ally within 20 meters and teleports Kurt directly to them. Every BAMF landing generates a 28 HP pulse to all enemies within 10 meters. During BAMF Blitz, every BAMF heals the targeted ally for 100 HP and grants them 15% bonus damage for 3 seconds. When BAMF Blitz ends, flourish charges are immediately replenished to full 4 charges. So yeah, BAMF Blitz I think would be a cool ultimate for him. The cost isn't that high, it's around 2,800, but this will allow him to just go crazy like he does in those clutch moments where he's just BAMFing, left and right all across the battlefield, right? So I think this pretty much fits into his kit. It allows to keep his teammates up, and also it is very, very interactive. It gives you more control of how you take on fights on the battlefield. Get into those positions, get into those teammates that you know may be a little bit more important than others, depending on, you know, what's going on in the game. So I think this gives you a lot of control. Again, I think this makes this an overall fun character, and overall fits, you know, what Nightcrawler actually is, you know, especially having the rapiers involved. The BAMF is definitely being involved as his main way, or one of his main abilities, if not his main ability, right? So yeah, y'all tell me what y'all think. You know, again, I think that this is a very high learning curve character, but if somebody can play this character to a high, you know, a high standard, I mean, he's gonna do some damage. He's gonna be another character you would have to look out for. He would be so annoying because you don't know who he's going to target. You know, he could target the backline, or he could target anybody that's one shot in the area, especially with the riposte and things like that. You know, you just never know where he may appear. He's almost like a Psylocke strategist in a sense. Maybe that makes sense, maybe it doesn't, but I don't know. Like I said, my goal was to try to make him a DPS strategist as best in my ability. So you guys tell me what you think. What would you change? What would you keep? What are things that you feel would make this kid better? And yeah, like I said, I'm always here for criticism. It's just for fun, y'all. You know, let's talk about it. Let's just see what happens, you know, what we can put together, right? Who knows? You never know if the devs are listening, or they'll take these things into consideration depending on where they are with the development of these characters. But with that being said, as always, I appreciate anybody that ever shows any sort of support, whether again it's my videos, my shorts. Y'all definitely like and subscribe, leave comments as always. And yeah, I can't believe it, part 10. Hopefully I'll see y'all in part 11. Until then, peace.